Hello everyone. Um, it's me again with another long, unscripted video in preparation for another episode of my podcast. Just to try to get better at this whole talking without a script thing. Today I decided to take a look at this channel, SCHAFFRILLAS Productions, and react to the thumbnails, the titles, the ideas, without really engaging with the content itself. I have watched a few of his videos, but still I'm not very familiar with what this individual, is like, what he likes. I know that he likes Phineas and Ferb. He says good night tri-state area. I know he likes BoJack Horseman. He plays the outro song as his outro sometimes. Other than that, and he likes Tamatoa. Like the there he is, the crab from Moana, from that one scene. All right, so let's begin. I think I will skip these first two videos. I have nothing to comment on here. And also I will skip this one because I don't know anything about video games, at least 2020 video games. So is it good or not? I already saw this one, so I don't know what else to say. I just point out that he says the word intellectual often in this video, and I suppose I think that that adjective only applies to like the implications and not really the text itself, not really like the concept that the movie explicitly brings up. To me, it's very interesting that the framework that the movie works with says there's a soul that has this form. It basically says, like, like the Hare Krishnas believe, right? We exist now. As we exist, we have existed, and we will continue to exist. I think that more intellectual, I would prefer to say spiritual too, but yeah, you could say intellectual. I mean, if you read, for example, Carl Jung's autobiography, he talks a lot about this sort of stuff in detail. I think there is an intellectual, angle to that, but it's more of like deciding to just feel, the moment and appreciate the wonders of existence more than really intellectualizing them. Let's move on. The heartwarming brilliance of Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas. I have never seen Community, but it's a milestone of television. It's one of those shows that I can, without a doubt, call postmodern, postmodernist. Why Shrek is an enduring classic? It's why Shrek is an enduring classic? I'm not sure if this is his point, but it was a shift in animation. This movie shook Disney to their absolute core. You see them 20 years after the matter, still making references to themselves, to their past. The Disney remakes exist purely, for that reason, to like commentate on their trajectory. Wouldn't have that if it weren't for Shrek, really. Like they have not overcome, that feeling, that frustration. The movie is brilliant, and not only that, but I think it was destined to be brilliant, or at least it was destined to have this grand reputation. It's been submitted to the Library of Congress. I say that it was destined to be great because, or at least to be up there, because it premiered in Cannes, in Cannes Film Festival, alongside. Let's check it out. Sorry, don't look at this. Let's look at the selection, shall we? We have In Praise of Love by Jean-Luc Godard. We have The Man Who Wasn't There by Joel Cohen, one of the Cohen brothers. We have Millennium Mambo by Hou Xiaoxian. We have Moulin Rouge by Baz Luhrmann. We have Mulholland Drive by David Lynch. And The Piano Teacher by Michael Haneke. And the Pledge by Sean Penn? Well, whatever. So you see what kind of selection we have here? We have these giants of the art film industry, you know, Haneke, Lynch, Xiaoxian, and you know also other classics, more mainstream classics like Moulin Rouge. Yeah, and there's Shrek here, so you know, I say that it was destined for greatness. Also, if you have not seen Shrek in French, you know Alain Chabat, if you know him, he plays Shrek and he does a great job. And he's also a great humorist, a great comedian, and he's directed a few comedy movies that are also very funny. I watched the High School Musical trilogy for the first time. I don't think I will watch this because I'm not interested. I'm one from Gen Z loves High School Musical, like with all of their soul, with all of their being. As an adult or as a young adult even, you will not get the same, and I don't care about that. I'm sorry. Like if you think that it's like really wacky or like you cannot take it seriously, like I'm sorry, but there's no point there. Like you really gotta respect this series. Legitimately good musical. Case made. Every DreamWorks movie ranked. Oh my god. So let's see which of these would be his top 5. I think How to Train Your Dragon definitely. Kung Fu Panda, at least the second one. Megamind, yeah. Shrek probably. Maybe Shrek 2. So we have four there. And then I'm not sure. Maybe Shark Tale. No, Shark Tale. Shark Tale. El Dorado. I really don't know. Maybe another of the How to Train Your Dragon movies. Ratatouille, cinematic disaster or genius socioeconomic critique. Judging by the runtime of barely 20 minutes, considering that he has an hour-long video on Ratatouille and its genius, I'm gonna go with the former, cinematic disaster. Legend of Korra, is it good or not? I have also no say on this because I didn't grow up on Korra or Aang for that matter. Why Scared Shrekless is surprisingly good. They're not meant to have the same. The shorts are just that, shorts. They don't have like developed plots or anything. They're not meant to be on par with the movies. But if you enjoy them, all right, that I see why you would be surprised. Why Majora's Mask is my blah 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 an hour long. Oh, okay, legit. Yeah, again, I did not grow up with The Legend of Zelda. I was a Mario person. I still am. Why Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga is a perfect adaptation? I actually own Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. I really liked it. You know, back in the day. The perfect adaptation was just a Lego adaptation. You know, they make everything comedic. I suppose that helped. You know, some people appreciate the trilogy a little bit better. Every Steven Universe song ranked. No, again, out of my expertise here. It's over, isn't it? I like that one. Why BoJack Horseman is the best thing that ever happened, part 2. We will omit any opinions on BoJack Horseman. I think I will reserve that for the podcast, if I ever do it. Why Hadestown is the most brilliant musical ever. I've never heard of this. What is Hadestown? Maybe it's not like a traditional, you know, orthodox musical, and maybe that's why he likes it. He likes musicals too, like that's another thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning. Mulan is the worst Disney. Yeah, everyone agrees that. You know, uncontroversial. Phineas and Ferb, is it good or not? I watched his best 2020 movies video, and he included this one at like number 8. So yeah, he liked it. I haven't seen it though, and and I want to. Why Kid Icarus? Okay, I have no idea, you know, on these properties. Fire Emblem Awakening, Xenoblade Chronicles. I don't know what that is. Chris talks about why he why he loves JoJo Bizarre Adventure. I um I used to like, you know, JoJo's too. I fell out of it by the time Bento Audio debuted. It's fun, you know, to listen to someone talk about JoJo's. The insanely revealing Frozen 2 behind the scenes. Oh, yeah, they had no plan or time. And isn't that like most movies, most Disney movies anyway? Like the same thing can be said about the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Why Ratatouille is Pixar's magnum opus? Here's the thing. Ratatouille is the safest choice for your favorite Pixar movie. It's the most socially acceptable option, you know, to declare, you know, as your favorite in front of, you know, other adults. Because yeah, like Pixar, they're family movies, but still they're catered, you know, a little bit to children. And there's this perception that animation in general is better suited for children, etc. And yeah, I do not share that notion, but still, you know, if you ask any adult like what's your favorite Pixar movie, they will say Ratatouille, because most movies, most children movies or most family movies feature protagonists that are children or talking animals. Here we have, you know, Linguini, Linguini, and you know, Skinner, Antonego, Gusto, well, not Gusto, but like Colette, and a whole crew of chefs. These adult characters, human characters too, they're featured prominently. Like they're a big part of the appeal. They can, you know, have these discussions that wouldn't you know, interest or be understood by children. I remember being like 7 and not really understanding the whole ordeal of Linguini being Gusteau's son. I thought that it was a mistake, that like nobody really knew, but Linguini was just rolling with it or something like that. And I did not understand why the lawyer, why Skinner's lawyer was there, right? Then those things are only can better be appreciated by adults, right? So that's why, you know, most adults would choose Ratatouille as their favorite or as their choice for the best Pixar movie. My favorite Pixar movie is Monsters Inc. And it used to be Incredibles, which was also directed by Brad Bird, you know, as Ratatouille was. Uh, it seems like Brad Bird has this appeal, you know, with adults, you know, with the stories that he chooses to tell. Next, one excellent scene, Charles Tank seizure. I don't remember anything about Logan. Well, I do, but let's just move on. Why BoJack Horseman is the best thing that ever happened. In the third video, I think that he says that, you know, best thing that ever happened, reference to an episode of the show. So he does not actually believe that is the best thing that ever happened. Also, I think in this video he reveals that he does not like this one character, Vincent Adultman. I think that once I had felt that I had found this piece of media that I could call perfect, I still had some like gripes with it. Even something that is a masterpiece can be, you know, can have something that you don't like, some flaw of some kind. But also I would like to believe that the perfect show or the perfect movie, the perfect piece of media of your selection, you should be able to love every single bit, every single aspect of it. If you say that is one character that is actually pretty important, pretty relevant, or at least for the first season's storylines, well, you don't really like this show, at least not in its entirety. Each day I'm more convinced that like love-hate relationships with pieces of media are more fulfilling than wholehearted love ones. Hamilton on Disney Plus, is it good or not? I saw my favorite part, which is like the first 30 minutes, the first 40 minutes, and that's it. But still, I enjoyed it. I think that Lindsay Ellis didn't like it, and I'm not sure what is the general consensus on it, from Hamilton fans, but I liked it, what I saw at least. Ranking the 9 main blah 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 featuring Sideways. Oh, nice, Sideways. I'll take a guess. 9 main Star Wars. I think it's going to be okay like this: 5, 4, 7, 9, 8, 3, 2. No, okay. Let's drop it there. The thing is that it's going to be. If I ever watch this, it would be interesting because Sideways is like very picky. He's like he's so systematic with how he approaches art in general. So I'm not sure if Shafrillas is someone who just like thinks or rather feels that he likes something. I'm not sure if he has musical knowledge. Maybe he does, on music theory. But Sideways, really, he's more about like, oh, if this piece has like every if this piece contains references to diegetic elements of the movie, or not only this one movie but the entire saga, the entire history of Star Wars, blah blah blah, then it's better or something like that. It's so, to me, that's a very plain way of just looking at music, but that's to each their own. Ranking details of okay, I'm going to skip this one again. Reenacting the entirety of Shrek for charity. Yeah, as you can see, I watched like the beginning, then I clicked away. Top 10 DreamWorks villains. Yeah, those 3 in the thumbnail are definitely top 10 DreamWorks villains. A little side note. Kung Fu Panda villains, I always associated them with like Star Wars villains, Tai Lung and Lord Chen. Like they remind me so much of like Anakin, becoming Darth Vader, or like Kylo Ren, right? Being these these brats that have anger issues, and therefore they fall to the dark side. It's great. Hal Jordan, he's also a fun villain in the way that he's like this dweeb who doesn't actually want to become a hero. He's just doing it to to approach Roxanne, and when he doesn't get his way, then he just gives in to his evil urges. Well, not his evil urges, but like he says, hey, being evil is easier. It's much easier. Yeah, I guess, yeah. And also the fairy godmother, she's also great. Why Over the Hedge is surprisingly good. Surprisingly, why? It's good. I know that DreamWorks has this reputation, of being, and this is why I like them, of being unapologetically juvenile, and which can be a huge turnoff for people who take animation, so seriously that they believe like it's, oh my god, why is the most popular, media geared towards children, and making these tasteless jokes when it could be so much more. And it's, yeah, I agree to a certain extent, but it's like I saw this movie like 2 or 3 years ago, again, and it was just as good as the first time I watched it. The climax is still referenced to this day by so many people. Like it took everyone by surprise when we first saw it, and it's so grand, it's so epic. Yeah, it's there's no reason to dismiss this movie. Well, stars. Yeah, again, I watched like a few scattered episodes of the Clone Wars when it premiered, in a few years after. I've lost track. I forgot most of it. So yeah, let's just move on. Every Phineas and Ferb song ever ranked. Okay, I recognize. I don't know if it's called Frenemies or something like that in English. So yeah, that's one song. There's the song that Ferb sings in the newspaper airplane. I Ain't Got Rhythm. The Queen of the mini golf or something like that. The disco, the disco inspired mini golf queen. Busted, of course, timeless classic. I Am Lindana, and I Wanna Have Fun. This love song, this evil love song between Doofenshmirtz and and his date. I don't know, Weaponry by Norma. Maybe it's not that one, but that's also a fun song. And this one song Lawrence Fletcher sings, as this 80s throwback type of guy of persona. Oh, and the Japanese mock song, right? I mean, because the visual, they have the characters do the camel dance, but that's not like Japanese. Well, I don't know which are my favorite Phineas and Ferb songs, but that's not relevant right now. So let's move on. What Makoto Nijima teaches us about loneliness. Persona 5. Yeah, another video game I have no experience with. Over the Hedge review. Wait, didn't you do this video again? Before, I mean. All right, maybe it was like a first impression, and then he realized, wow, it's actually good. Why Ralph Breaks the Internet is a cinematic disaster? Is it? I think it's on the same level as the first one. And the first one is actually, is compelling because it's the story about this guy who is alone. He has no friends. He's actually rejected. He's not an outcast, at will, because he wants to. This second movie is about learning that your friends, the friends that you make, they have their own lives. They also make friends of their own, and you have to understand that. And that's a valuable lesson for him because he's very attached to his first friend, Vanellope, and he has this hard time to just let her be in that way. I mean, their connection is pretty special because he saved her, and they have a very complete arc of friendship. Like he made her cry because he thought he was doing the right thing for her, and because King Candy told him so, and all that. Yeah, great stuff. In the second one, so yeah, we have this lesson, and I don't think it's very often that we get that. But yeah, sometimes you just have to let your friends be without you, and that's okay. Onward. Is it good or not? He didn't like this one. Yeah, I already saw this one. Again, I cheat. I don't know. I liked it. It's a fun film. If you've seen Full Metal Alchemist, yeah, there's no much point in watching it. I like again, the lesson. Ian doesn't deserve Barley, in my opinion. Like he really took that long to realize that how important he was in his life. Like that's not a good brother there. But okay, yeah, it's a fun film. What else can we say here? It's not one of the classics. It's not one of their better films. Although it's one of the better Pixar films that came out of the 2010s. Yeah, I did find it fun. Why How to Train Your Dragon 2 is the weakest one? Really? Actually, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is the one that I've seen twice in theaters. The first one I haven't seen since it came out in 2010. Really. And the third one I saw it here. I mean, I saw it at home, and I didn't finish it. I did not see the end. The second one, I believe that it's very it's the one with the highest stakes. Okay, maybe not the one with the highest stakes, but the most happens in that movie. Like they find, okay, spoilers, but come on, like it's 7 years old by this point. They find Hiccup's mom. I think that's amazing, and seeing them reconnect is also it's very touching. It's very moving, and that toothless image and from the thumbnail, it's from the most important moment of the film. It's the most tragic point of the film too. The implications, right? It's toothless against this other figure that Hiccup values and loves. It's like, whoa, what would he feel then? If this is the weakest one, then the other two must be like too amazing. Maybe for me, but like they must be great then, really, really great. Sonic the Hedgehog is Sonic the Hedgehog is a movie that exists with Watto there. I did not see it. I don't care. Moving on. Why A Whole New World is the best Disney song ever written. The best Disney song. I can show you the world, shining, glimmering, splendid. I don't know the lyrics. Well, what is my choice of for best Disney song? I have no idea, honestly. There are so many candidates. I don't know. Make sure to check out my melodica cover of "Go the Distance" from Hercules. Yeah, let's move on. Oh, revisiting The Last Jedi and Why It's Alright. Yeah, The Last Jedi. Not the most hardcore Star Wars fan out there, right? In fact, I was listening to a Weird Al parody of the saga begins or something like that. There, I heard him use the word midichlorians, and I was under the impression that midichlorians were like an addition of the new sequel trilogy, and I was like, what? How? And I've loved that song, and it's been years since I first heard it, and so yeah, I'm a very bad Star Wars fan. But the thing is, The Last Jedi is an impressive achievement, because how can something be so polarizing? What this guy did was pretty much like subvert the foundations of the entire saga. That's insane. Like the balls on that dude. Wow. And yeah, I've seen The Last Jedi twice, I believe. I watched it on theaters, and I watched it on Netflix at home. And my favorite moment is when Yoda, the Yoda's ghost, when Yoda's ghost comes in like, young Skywalker, you're not here. Like he's telling him, he's telling Luke that the sacred Jedi books, I don't know what he says, very compelling writings, they were not. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up, right? It's incredible that this movie really caused this much discourse. I hope that when Shafila says why it's all right, he understands, the beauty. He says a beautiful mess. He understands the beauty and the value of this movie in the context of the Star Wars franchise. The top 10 movies of 2019, we have there Marriage Story, Scenes from a Marriage, I recommend that one. How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Lighthouse, I saw The Lighthouse, it's really good. Knives Out, I haven't finished it, but I saw like half of it. And what's that, like Booksmart or something like that? Maybe. Well, good choices. Why Shrek the House is kind of mediocre. Really, that's what I was saying, that shorts are not meant to be as good as the movie. What do you expect out of silly comedic shorts, like with the motive of like holidays? What do you expect other than just Shrek and company messing around, like telling each other stories? What else do you want? Cats is a movie that exists. Maybe it did not make that much of an impact on him. I hope so. Personally, I loved the movie Cats, and it made me also, and it also made me fall in love with the musical. I've heard, the iterations that I could find. I prefer, the 1990s, that taping. I think that it's the best performed one. I don't like the soundtrack. What's it called? The Broadway soundtrack one from like the 80s that much. The one that's on Spotify. And I also like the Cats, the performances in that one. I also like them. Yeah. So if Shafrillas is a musicals fan, maybe he didn't feel so attacked by the existence of this movie. Well, I hope so. Rise of Skywalker is very bad. I did not see Rise of Skywalker, and I trust I trust you, Shafrillas. It might be very bad. Why Emperor's New Groove is a comedic classic. It's not only a comedic classic. It's really funny, but yeah, so many quotables from there. Yeah, but I rewatched a few clips, that I particularly like a few nights ago, and man, I had no idea of how deeply I relate to the movie. Yeah, it's a bit personal. It has a lot to do with nostalgia too, but the movie itself is amazing, right? It's about this brat learning this lesson on humility, from this guy, Pacham, like he, that scene where Cusco's like, how are the possibilities of you like carrying me? And Pacha says like, nah, not very good, and then he's shown carrying Cusco. That's pretty much his character right there. Like Pacha, he's so respectful and kind, but he also does not let others stomp over him. So yeah, it's a very fun story in the sense that you see them interact. You see Pacha learn about Cusco and Cusco about Pacha, and they learn from each other too. It's great. It's very human. It's I think that is an underrated aspect of the movie. And it being really really funny is also a plus. It's also again part of the appeal. Frozen 2 is a movie that exists. Yeah, he was disappointed by it. I only saw the first few minutes and I did not notice anything different. Frozen, I like it. Like I don't willingly watch it, but I like it. It's okay. It's an okay movie. I have some curiosity as to what Frozen 2 does, but yeah, I have no urgency of watching it. Why Shrek Forever After is an under. Here's the thing about Shrek 3. Shrek 2 follows the steps of Shrek 1, right? Shrek 3 follows the steps of Shrek 2, which set already a very high bar. Shrek 3 ventured into some new territory, and it misstepped. It made most people uncomfortable. The fatherhood arc is pretty. Shrek Forever or Shrek 4, because it's set on an alternate reality, everything is wrong, everything is different, everything is changed. Therefore, there is not much dissonance between the Marvel that are the first two Shrek movies and Shrek the third. I think Shrek Forever also offers a few very good moments, like the scene where Shrek is at Fiona's tower, and he notices that she wrote she counted every day that she stayed there, waiting for someone to rescue her, and then he counts even more days, more lines. He realizes that she broke herself out because nobody did. It's and how hard it must have been to wait, to the point that you just realize that that no one will come. To lose that hope and suddenly gain confidence on yourself to do it yourself. It's honestly a great moment. And then there's also like that moment where Shrek finally kisses Fiona, but she's not in love yet. So yeah, the seriousness of some scenes is broken by jokes. But okay, it's Shrek, comedy. It has some elements, going for it. Yeah, it's good. Top 10 30 billion songs. That's very general. Like, what would you include there? I bet that it's not just animation songs. I bet. Why Madagascar 2 is easily the best one. Is it in terms of scope? The third one is the best one because they're fugitives across Europe, and they're being chased by this crazy woman who is determined to hunt Alex for sport. Like, and she's not like easy pickings either. she's like a real threat. Yeah, you can say that there's also a crazy woman like that in Madagascar 2, Nana from the first movie. I don't know. I did not perceive her as as unhinged as Madame Dubois. And yeah, I mean, in Madagascar 3, they actually make it back to the zoo, and they don't find themselves very excited. They're like a bit disappointed, disillusioned, to the prospect of going back to their old life. And there's also that great that end scene, right, of where they perform this. They actually acknowledge the greatness of Cirque du Soleil. Not a name, but it is a direct reference to them. So later they do this and their own cirque show. It's pretty amusing, and the song choice is odd, but okay. So Madagascar 2, I mean, if you want to judge it by the fact that it has Moto Moto in it, okay, I will not judge you. It's completely understandable, actually. White Cars 2, no, okay, I misread that. White Cars is a conceptually bad franchise. Conceptually bad franchise. You know that YMS review of the Cats adaptation? He said, yeah, it's a bad movie because the musical is also bad, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I don't accept that. No. So White Cars is a conceptually bad franchise. I said when talking about Ratatouille that when you have adult characters, you can engage more, your adult audience. If you don't have anthropomorphic characters, can you even engage humans? The answer is yes. The answer is yes because I mean the first one, the first Cars, in my opinion, makes it. It's part of that of the collection of 10 or so films that are the Pixar classics. You know, the first one. The second one, I understand if everyone dislikes it. I don't. I still find it amusing. And I saw the third one. I don't plan it on watching it, of seeing it again, but it was good, and it was interesting that they made this retrospective on Doc Hudson, which is a very a very good character. He's an amazing presence in the first movie. Well, I don't know what else to say. There is potential. There's like narrative potential in Cars. Yes, there is. Them being Cars is just a challenge that Pixar set for themselves. Why are weird musical adaptations so popular featuring Cersei? Oh, I know Cersei. I've seen a few of her videos, not about musicals though. Why are weird musical adaptations so popular? Because they're weird. Yeah. Every Disney Renaissance movie ranked. I don't know his ranking. Okay, let's try to guess. No, actually, I'll just guess I'll just do mine. Beauty and the Beast, although I haven't seen it since I was like 5. Hunchback, I mean, it's like, yes, it's also one of the like superior Disney films, but I have not seen it like ever. Well, yeah, yes, but I was like, again, 5. I don't remember anything. Whoa. Is that like Orville or Wilbur? Like, yeah, because technically the Rescuers Down Under, that counts as a Disney Renaissance movie, right? So in that movie, in the first one, the albatross that helps, you know, Bernardo and Bernardo, what are their names in English? I don't know. I'll just call them Bernardo and Bianca, right? That albatross, I think, is called Orville, and that one is Wilbur, you know, because reference. So yeah, whatever. Tarzan, Mulan, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Hunchback, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Hercules, Pocahontas, and Rescuers Down Under. Now, why Elsa is a terribly written character? I don't know, man. Here's one tenet of like my writing and storytelling criticism. Let's say that one of my art criticism tenets. Characters are independent of their author, right? You will judge them as, you know, autonomous beings, autonomous fictional beings, but you should not evaluate them, you know, as this puppet that is being controlled by someone else. I think that makes for better analysis, at least a more compelling analysis. Why Megamind is a subversive masterpiece? Yeah, I mean, I have not seen like Metro Man's like his arc. I have not seen it anywhere else. I also really like, you know, in general, you know, Megamind is, and I have this movie in my DNA. Like at this point, I've seen it like once every year for the past. I mean, since it came out, I think the big takeaway for Megamind is that, like it says in the ending, oh, I'm starting to think that destiny is not what is written for you, is what is waiting for you. Destiny is what you make, is what you yourself, you know, write. You know, we see him grow up believing that he's supposed to be the bad guy. I mean, he's raised in jail by inmates, and then he goes to school, and but he's an outcast. So since the good guy, you know, Metro Man, he is rejecting him, and the whole class also rejects him and turns on him. He believes that if he's not accepted by this by the good guy, then he has, you know, to become the bad guy, and he enjoys that, and he enjoyed that, you know, having this role. And then he feels he feels empty when he has no Metro Man to fight. He feels that he has to go on being the villain. It does not occur to him that he can be something else or be the good guy himself, right? Like he was just shapen by his environment, by society. It's yeah, it's great to see it, you know, unfold. So yeah, one of my favorite movies. I'm glad that you like it too. Spider-Man Far From Home is shockingly spectacular. I did not really see it. I saw its bits and pieces. I'll just say that for my Mexican audience that may be listening, You know that song, Hey Claridad, ven Claridad, amanece una vez Claridad. Well, that's another song that was imported from Italy, right? Like many of our pop hits of the 70s and 80s, that too, was just a translation of an Italian song. To me, that was a highlight. Uh, I really don't care for the MCU Spider-Man movies. Sorry. Why Spider-Man 3 is my favorite of the trilogy. Now this is what I like. I like controversial opinions. I like to start shit. So yeah, I mean, there are so many fun moments in Spider-Man 3. I myself didn't appreciate it the first time I watched it when I was like 7. But yeah, it's there's so many bold choices here. I'm glad to see it, to see some redemption for it later. You know how in Spider-Verse it is, there's a reference in the beginning to Spider-Man 3. Well, masterpieces address other masterpieces. They acknowledge masterpieces. Capitalism Story 4. Oh, that's him. Yeah. Capitalism Story 4 review. I liked Toy Story 4. It was not a necessary movie, but well, it's like another departure. We had the point of the entire original trilogy was Woody, coming to terms with Andy outgrowing. Well, yeah, you could say outgrowing, but more than outgrowing his toys, just separating from them, as a sentimental, baggage. Because yeah, that's like the accomplishment of the Toy Story saga, to demonstrate that we as humans can form these very strong attachments to inanimate objects, and we also treat them as if they were animate. This fourth movie, it's another closure chapter. This time, like the whole saga has outgrown Woody, or rather, it has separated from him and from the audience as well, right? We are, what are we? Are we Andy or are we Woody? Well, in any case, Woody has realized that he can be independent. He doesn't need to fulfill that servitude purpose to be happy. It also brings to light very very interesting implications of the Toy Story universe, right? Toys are their mere existence is dictated by their purpose to be played with, to be loved by your God. But if you don't have any and anyone to serve, at least you can still be happy and live a life independent from anyone, at least with the company of other toys too. Every best animated feature winner ranked. No, I'm not going to spend more time on this. We've already I think surpassed our time limit. How to redeem a broken hero. Last Jedi and Endgame. He did not like fat Thor, fat traumatized broken Thor, or he didn't like that moment when his own mother tells him that he's still worthy. All right, okay, yeah. At least he liked the Luke's redemption. Aladdin 2019 is a movie. Yeah, man, like all of the Disney remakes are like that. Very insipid, very bland. Nobody wants them. Everyone who sees them is just I don't know. Why Disney's role is too evil? Now this is a new one. I don't know. Who's that? Is that like a Frollo from a musical adaptation from like a stage show? Is he something? Is he someone from something completely unrelated? I'm not sure. Look, I only remember that that first scene where Frollo like kicks this. Oh no, he doesn't kick her, right? This woman falls like down a case of stairs or something like that, and he takes Quasimodo, the baby. I got that vibe from him, even as like a child, right? But well, I wouldn't know why he's too evil. That's an interesting one. Maybe he doesn't buy it. Like follow being too evil. Avengers Endgame review. I guess that he liked it because it's a short one. We've been taking the MCU for granted. Yeah, we have. Yeah. No, Yeah, no, that's not a serious video. How the first 3 minutes of this... Oh, no, this is an April Fool's video. Why Shark Tale is a cinematic disaster. Shark Tale precedes, Zootopia. Shark Tale is a gangster film. Shark Tale has this world that functions very intriguingly, because we have the mob can terrorize openly citizens, and suddenly they come to this pact because of more violence. I don't know what that came from. Where did that come from? Like I don't know what I'm saying. The greatest point of Shark Tale is that it establishes this society that is coherent and well structured. It did this before Zootopia, which everyone actually liked. Well, maybe not so much these days, but still. And I don't know if I like the celebrity voice cast. I don't know why even like get mad at Shark Tale. It's good. it's good. Captain Marvel is painfully average. Isn't that like every MCU movie? Not every. Most MCU movies. I've heard that Captain Marvel is just like barely veiled, thinly veiled propaganda for the military, and it's like, again, isn't that like most MCU movies? Yeah, I liked what I saw, and I think the sequence of her fighting to Just a Girl by No Doubt, I liked that. I really did. Bohemian Rhapsody, the weirdest Best Picture nomination ever. I think that you could say that Black Panther was weirder, but still Black Panther was much more deserved. But yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody did not really deserve anything of this kind. And going back a little bit to Black Panther, remember when the Oscars wanted to like make this best popular movie category, so they could nominate Black Panther? Like they're already very elitist. They were like, yeah, I mean, we can also nominate things that we believe are under us. I think we still have a lot to get through. Oh my god, this took longer than expected. Should I do a second part? No, let's just rush through these. Where was I? How Voltron? Okay, I cannot say anything about Voltron. Shrek Retold. I watched like the first 30 minutes and I did not get anything out of it. I did not get anything different out of it. There is a surprise cameo in it. It's in the first 30 minutes. I suggest you watch it only for that. Why Shrek the Third? Again, I think I touched slightly on it, and that was pretty much it. Like it stepped on some new territory that no one was really excited about. Still, that dream, that nightmare that Shrek has, it's actually fucking Freudian. It's really disturbing, and it's also like awesome. Well, Into the Spider-Verse is shockingly spectacular. Why shockingly? Is it because this is by Sony Pictures Animation? Like the same studio that brought you like the Emoji Movie and other franchises like Open Season and The Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Hotel Transylvania, which are not as commercially successful or critically acclaimed. And it's like, still, it was. I mean, I think Phil Lord co-wrote it. In any case, Lord and Miller they picked up the Oscar because they produced it. And I mean, with them involved, it was bound to be good. That they directed and wrote the first Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs movie, right? You know that, right? That's why it's so amazing as well. But yeah, Into the Spider-Verse, a very good movie. I've seen it twice. Super Smash Bros. Okay, thank you. Yeah, life is unfair. I think he also said this in another video. Yeah, but Stephen Hillenburg, like his impact on the animation world with this one show, it cannot be measured, really. Its impact is still felt today in like today's shows. And SpongeBob can also be counted as a postmodern show, but that's a topic for another day. This Ralph Breaks the Internet review is totally no longer accurate. All right. I think in this one he was excited about it. Ocarina of Time, yeah, no idea. Okay, 2009, the year animated films peaked. It's a good year, but I hope it's not the last good year. Coraline, the best film Laika has ever done. Up, masterpiece of masterpieces. Of course, it deserved to be nominated for Best Picture. Fantastic Mr. Fox, best movie ever. So there's also that. And Princess and the Frog, last 2D movie. It's amazing. It has that magic and that charm of 2000. Of 2000. What am I saying? Of 2D movies. And again, it's a great movie. 21 underrated channels. Do I recognize anyone here? No, I don't. Damn. Why Shrek 2 is a perfect sequel? I think it did everything that Shrek did, but better. Is that why the video is called Why Shrek 2 is a perfect sequel? Is it a sequel that is perfect? Or is it a perfect sequel in the sense that it's like the perfect movie that followed the first one? Or is it a perfect movie on its own that happens to be a sequel? Well, okay. How Disney killed... did Disney kill him? I mean, through overexposure? Huh. How to subvert expectations correctly? Infinity War I absolutely despise. Despite watching Endgame in theaters and loving it, and watching it again in like Christmas Day in 2019, I don't know, like I just did not feel Infinity War at all. And The Last Jedi, that was good. That twist was good. It's Kylo who did it. Moana versus Coco cultural divide. I liked this video. I mean, I did see it. Just one thing, one very superficial thing. Okay, let's talk about it. It's much easier to do a film about, if you're in the States, to do a film about Coco, to do a film about Mexico than any other country, really, because of its proximity, because the language barrier is also not that difficult to cross. Really, it's easier to communicate or to find someone who can translate easily Spanish from Spanish to English than someone who can translate, from the languages of the Polynesian people or like of the Maori people, right? Or in any other Disney movie that takes place in a different part of the world, Aladdin, like you cannot really make a very accurate depiction of, even if the country of Agrabah is fictional, yes, like. People from the Middle East and did not like Aladdin. People from China did not like Mulan. It's really hard to do this, to capture a culture, respectfully and accurately, if you cannot really communicate with someone who is an expert on it or who comes from it. And here, all they had to do was go to Mexico, a country that is a neighboring country, just do some traveling, and that's it. See some stuff, and there it is. Also, like there's not much all of the information on Dia de los Muertos is not like hidden. It's very common knowledge and also very easy to research. I'm gonna go on another tangent here. Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo, right? Frida Kahlo, her appearance. I mean, they have this like Frida Kahlo skeleton appear in the movie. Her appearance, would mark the inclusion of a real life communist in a Disney produced, Disney owned film. You realize that, right? Because Disney, an American film studio, from this country that is so rabidly anti-socialist and anti-communist, it's amazing. But why did they do that? Did they know? Either they knew and they did it like very sneakily, or they did not do the research and they just thought, I mean, Frida Kahlo we see her on merch everywhere, in every country. There's like bags with her face and paintings and art on it, and they're like maybe a Funko Pop of her, etc. I know we could not have like if we're talking about communists. I mean, we cannot have like David Alfaro Siqueiros, right? But still, or like artwork, he was not necessarily communist, but like Posadas, the guy who sketched the first Katrina, because the Katrinas, they were a satire of like the Mexican bourgeoisie. You knew that, right? That like if you see these skeletons that are very like fancy in how they dress, well, that's why. So yeah, the Katrina is just a character, but like more of a contemporary character rather than like a traditional character of mythology. We talk about like La Huesuda, La Calaca, La Parca, in all that, but like when we write Calaveras, right? But it's not the same. It's not the same. She does not have the same. I mean, okay, I went too far here. But let's move on. Blah 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 blah. Why Disney's twist villains don't work? This is my first video that I saw of his. I agree with his points, mostly because I'm also very tired of like reveal villains. But well, what can we do, right? What can we do? The one that works for me is Turbotastic. Not much else. I think we're done here, or we're mostly done. Incredibles 2 is painfully average. It's of course it's not going to be as good as the first one, because the story is not as ambitious. The stakes are not as high. And the sequel is about reinstating, supers into, like, the public consciousness, activity, service, working with the government. After Bob ruined being a superhero for everyone else. So I think that had to be addressed. That was like an enormous motivation for his actions in the first movie. It was like a fundamental plot point, and he did a good job. I mean, the sequel did a good job on handling that. What else? I think we are done. Are we done? I'm going to assume that we're done. Yeah, these are all YouTube clips. Okay, well, we are done reacting to SCHAFFRILLAS Productions thumbnails and titles, and giving some opinions. Nothing else to add, nothing else to plug. Buy VPNs, the ones that he promotes. I don't know, watch his channel.